Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Aaron, and it's May 2022, which is National Tennis Month. And today we're going to discuss why you should go and watch professional tournaments live. I recently went to the Billie Jean King Cup in Asheville, North Carolina, and I think the thing I learned the most is that I should not take my game so seriously because these players are so amazing. Aaron, what did you learn?
I learned the same thing. I learned the speed of the ball is much different.
Yes.
Than the way we hit. But I did learn that by watching them, I think just you learn some interesting things. Like we said, we're never going to be that good, but we also learn, like how they hit the ball, like if they lob or whatever. When I went to Charleston, did I say I went to Charleston? I don't know if I said that. I went to the Charleston Open, in April. And it was an outdoor event where yours was an indoor event.
Right.
So they played very different. So the weekend I was in Charleston, it was really, really windy. And instead of doing a lot of times, even in recreational tennis, but also I have seen some professional doubles on TV where they'll lob the ball and have someone running for the ball so that they set up their net person. That wasn't happening the weekend I was there because it was so windy. What was happening was they were just hitting really, really hard, and the points actually went fairly quickly because I think the weather conditions. So that's one thing I learned. The other thing that we learned, my friend and I went together, my friend Tammy, we sat in the upper level, which are really good seats. The stadium is amazing and intimate, even though I think it seats like 11,000 or something. It seats a pretty good amount, but we had really good seats in the upper level.
Okay.
And then we moved down for the next match because some people had left because it was cold and windy. And the closer we sat, the harder it was to see. And I think
interesting.
I think again, because of the speed of the ball, and we were sitting behind the referee. So we were like mid court, and then we had to like look back and forth really quickly. Like our heads had to go back and forth. So what I learned was our upper level seats were actually a little bit better, or sitting on like one end.
Yes. So I kind of sat in the middle behind the referee as well, but I noticed that all the important people sat behind the players when they were playing. So they never had to move their head back and forth. And, so I learned if you're important, you sit behind the players.
Right.
That was the other thing.
Exactly. Well, they see it more of that perspective of how you see it on TV.
Yes.
Right. So they saw like lengthwise. And it's kind of fun too. Do you remember we went a couple years ago to the Billie Jean Cup when it was in Asheville, and just watching like all the ball kids like interact with the players and stuff was really interesting. I think some interesting personalities came out one year.
Yeah. And I also like too, there's a lot of things you don't see, like you get to watch live that you don't see on TV. So you can really watch the receiver as they're returning a serve.
Right.
That they never show on TV.
Right.
Or kind of, what they're doing in between points, what the receiver's doing in between points a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was interesting is that I watched 4 singles matches and a doubles match. And I actually really enjoyed the doubles match.
Yeah. Even though we both play singles, it is nice to watch doubles. They don't show a lot of double. I watch a lot of tennis on TV, and they don't show a lot of doubles, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm guessing the percentage of recreational tennis players mostly play doubles.
Right. Yes.
Right. So that's kind of, that's a little bit more fun to watch. We'll never play like the singles players play.
Yes.
We'll never serve as fast or receive, but what you were saying about in between points, I think is interesting because, the pros nowadays have to get their own towels and all this stuff. And I always wonder, I'm sure you know the rule on this and I don't, but I always wonder, I know they have a time limit in between points. And I always wonder, I'm sure we do too, maybe.
Yes, it's 25 seconds.
It is.
But there's nothing you can do to enforce it.
Right.
So is there really a rule? I don't know.
Okay, so it's actually the same as the pros, which is interesting except they have a shot clock or they have a timer now that you can see on the. So I always wonder with our matches, are we taking that much time? Are we going, like, I always wonder that. Do I play fast? Do I play to the 25-second clock that I don't have available to watch? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Those things I think are interesting.
Yeah. I always feel like I play fast, But there, we have to go get our own balls. So if a ball goes in another court or something like that.
Yeah.
But so many interesting things. And especially as someone, I didn't grow up watching tennis.
Right.
I grew up watching basketball and football and all these other sports. And I did find it a little bit unusual how, you can't cheer as they're playing. So that was the only thing that I kind of had to get used to of, you have to be quiet and then you cheer. It was still a lot of fun. It was just something that's a little bit different if you didn't grow up watching tennis.
Right. It's not like you said, like a basketball game, people are cheering and saying shoot.
Or miss it or that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, one thing I loved about being there, which I thought was very funny, was when I was in Charleston, everyone that was sitting around me, not everyone, there were some people sitting around me that because you could tell everybody played tennis that was sitting around.
Right.
Like it was a whole crowd of like our people, right? Yeah. All adult rec players. And there were so many times where a couple people would like call the ball in or out and be like, oh, that was out, or oh, that was good, or whatever. And it was just so funny because it's like, we're not down on the court. We don't have a, maybe not everybody has 20/20 vision or better. I just thought it was very funny that everybody was an expert.
Yes.
Did you feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone was an expert sitting around us. So they knew what the right call was and they wanted to argue, amongst each other, talk about it or whatever. It just made me laugh because I'm like, there were definitely some times where I'm like, oh, that was close.
Yes.
But I'm not trained to call that ball. I can barely call it in rec tennis, let alone professional.
But it just shows you the different angles, how the different angles on the court really make a difference. Because I remember even one time where someone said, oh, that ball was in, and where I was looking, it really looked out. So, I think that may help my adult recreational game as well, that, hey, it's the angle you're looking at the ball when it hits. You may think your ball was in, but maybe it really was out.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's a really good point. The other thing that we have done recently, and we've talked about it, is we just got back from USTA Southern's awards meeting and awards a couple weeks ago in Atlanta. And everybody asked you and I, have you been to the US Open? Have you been to the US Open? Right? So that is our goal. We're going to do that.
It's on my bucket list.
Yes.
I want to go to the US Open.
But bucket as in like the next year. Okay, not late in life, but like soon. And hopefully, start to go year after year. But I knew about it, but I heard about it there, but I knew about it ahead of time too. And I wanted to tell people, you can go to the US Open, obviously, if you can afford to do that, if you can get the time off, if you can travel there. There's a lot of factors. I've never gone, but for a long time, I couldn't go because my kids were school age and it's in September and it's usually right about when kids are getting back into school. But my kids are getting older and I can do it now. But I wanted to tell people about the fan week that's going to happen. So every year, except for the COVID years, leading up to the start of the US Open, they have what's called the fan week. And I'm just going to read this word for word so I get it correct. This year, between August 23rd and August 28th, so from a Tuesday to a Sunday, the U.S. Open Fan Week is set to return in 2022 after a 2-year hiatus because of COVID. So it says, during the week-long tennis celebration leading up to the main draw, access to the grounds will be completely free. That's what I wanted people to know. But the other cool thing about it is, it says, that means that once again, fans will be able to attend at no cost the U.S. Open qualifying tournament, in addition to other events, including the Legends match, a U.S. Open player practice, as well as music and entertainment throughout the week. So it's great to see like all the number one players in the world, or, the 1 through 10s or the 1 through 100s or whatever, but the qualifying tournaments, the people that are fighting to get in to qualify to get into the US Open, I think would be some amazing matches to watch. And people even said that, like I said, I went to the semifinal and the final in Charleston, but I would love to be able to take a week off and go the whole week before, because those qualifiers or the matches before, I guess, they're already qualified to get in the tournament, but those matches that aren't the semis and the finals are so cool to watch. Not that they're more like us, but they are the lower seeds. So that tennis might look a little bit closer to what we think we look like when we play, even though that's not really what we look like. But I think those matches would be so cool. So if I was to do it again, I might go early in the Charleston tournament, and then, skip the finals or stay for it if I could. But I would love to see those qualifying matches.
And I was actually told by someone during the award ceremony at USTA Southern that those were the matches you can get better seats for.
Yes.
So you can see such amazing tennis, have a really good seat. I mean,
see them on a practice court.
Yeah.
What do pros do to practice?
Yes,
Do they do the same silly baby tennis warm up that we do?
What do they really
and
do?
then back up to the baseline, and then I don't think the pros, they're just out there hitting with their coaches. But yeah, it would be fun to see how they go through their routines. Or whatever.
And see someone of that caliber, because I always think about we have an amazing tennis pro who's a 5-0 who I can't win a game against.
Right.
And then even though she's amazing, she couldn't win a game against these players.
Exactly.
So it just puts it in a whole different perspective of playing tennis, and you see how amazing they are too.
Mm-hmm. And again, to sort of wrap up what we're talking about is it's great to go to tournaments and learn from them and see how the pros are doing it, but also realize we're never going to be at that level. And
unfortunately,
just enjoy tennis.
Yes.
Just enjoy what you can do. Enjoy watching it. Enjoy watching your friends play, pros play, whoever you can, but also make it so that you enjoy playing. And so that you'll stick with it for a long time, and maybe don't take it so seriously because everybody says it on the court, but none of us are getting paid unless you're getting in a tournament where, like Carolyn and I
we won $25.
We won
$25.
We did. So. We each won $25, but
it cost us $80 to
get in the tournament. So yes, we got paid for winning, but we still came out, in the negative end. But so I guess the point is to just, watch the pros and enjoy it, but also realize that we're just rec players.
We're just rec players, but also enjoy the trip there. Yes. I went there with a couple friends from, that I normally play tennis with all the time, but it's fun to go with your tennis friends to a tennis tournament and not play. When we go somewhere, we go to states and you're playing constantly and it's, let's hydrate and it's stressful.
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't be, it is.
It is.
And so just to go there with friends, I mean, you went with your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You met up for your 50th birthday at a tournament.
Yes.
So, or to celebrate the early celebration for your birthday.
It was her 50th.
Yeah, it's her 50th, not yours.
Mine isn't yet, but yes.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Just being able to go and watch and not have to have that stress. I mean, if you want to take your tennis racket and play, hit while you're at a tournament, that's fine. But just to go and relax and enjoy it.
If anyone listening has any recommendations of any tournaments we should attend other than Grand Slams, please let us know. You can message us on our website, which is secondservepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the courts soon.